Should you be following intermittent fasting or should you eat 4+ meals a day? In today's video, we're gonna break down the pros and cons of each and which you should be following yourself. Now, I know a lot of people have this question in mind because there's so much information out there. Some people say fasting is best for fat loss. Others would say you gotta eat very consistently to speed up your metabolism. I just wanna preface this video and say that there is no conclusive evidence that shows that eating more is gonna increase your metabolism or fasting is gonna burn more fat. And what we're gonna do in today's video is really go over my own preference and my best recommendations for you. As we head into this video, keep in mind that everyone is different, so there's not a one size fits all. After today's video, you should have a lot more clarity with what's gonna work for you specifically. So first off, I wanna break down intermittent fasting, just in case anybody doesn't know. Intermittent fasting is when you're fasting for 16 to 20 hours, which means you're not eating for this time frame, and you're gonna have a small window, which is called the eating window. This is gonna be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours where you do have your opportunity to eat. Now, what I'm gonna do is go over the pros and cons of each. The pros and cons of IF and the pros and cons of eating 4+ meals a day. The first one I wanna talk about is intermittent fasting. Now I'm gonna go over the three main pros of intermittent fasting. The first one is time convenience. I find with my clients that intermittent fasting works best for the ones that are very busy, people that are always in the office or on the go and just working very long hours. That's the first pro of intermittent fasting. Now, number two is you can eat more and feel more full. Some people may eat and after eating, they still feel like they're not at 100% or even like 80% and they're not really fully satiated. So with intermittent fasting, the second benefit is a lot of times you're gonna feel really full. A lot of people like to have that feeling of being really full and just being satiated, which leads to number three. Third is gonna be autophagy and regulation of blood sugar levels. Now I paired these two together even though they're two different things, and I kind of categorized it as just maintenance and homeostasis of your body, okay? So your body's always trying to achieve homeostasis. It always wants to be balanced. It always wants to be in its healthiest state. So autophagy, what that means first off, is it's your body's way of recycling metabolic waste and getting rid of dead cells. It's your body's way of cleansing itself, okay? So getting rid of dead cells so that it can make room to generate new cells. And it's your body's way, once again, of just like cleansing itself, okay? So that's autophagy. And when it comes to blood sugar levels, when you do fast, you are not gonna see as many blood sugar spikes. So like people that are diabetic have very high blood sugar levels and their blood sugar levels are always oscillating and that's not good. So with fasting, what it prevents is as much frequent spiking of your blood sugar levels. Now, this is not to say that you won't have any blood sugar level spikes when you fast, because if you're eating a very big meal with a lot of fast digesting carbs, you're still gonna see a spike, an even bigger spike if you're doing fasting. So just keep that in mind. Now, these are the pros of intermittent fasting. I'm gonna go over the three cons of intermittent fasting. One of the biggest complaints of intermittent fasting is hunger. Okay, you're going so many hours without eating and it's just something that is not fitted for everybody, all right? Some people really have like their focus, their performance, their overall enjoyment with things affected when they're doing fasting. And some people don't find it that bad. Some people can be hungry and they can still feel focused and that's totally fine. So the first one is hunger. The second thing is going to be energy levels. Now, of course, your energy levels are gonna take a hit if you are not eating during the fasting period. So people that are doing IF may find that their training may dip a little bit, or they may find that training is affected in some way, especially during the fasting hours. Now, there is a way around this, and that is partitioning your food at that exact time when you're training or around the same time you're training. But generally speaking, people do have a hit when it comes to their energy levels when they're fasting. You could be smarter with it, but in those fasting hours, for sure, you're gonna see less energy, which leads to number three. And this is what I find a lot with my clients as well. A lot of clients tell me like they think the fasting is gonna be like, you know, the magic pill for having them lose weight and they need a fast in order to maximize the results. And that's not really true, okay? The most important thing is your total calories and macros. And if you're fasting, keep in mind that it's gonna be harder for you to hit your macros, okay? So if you're already struggling to hit your calories or total calories and macros for the day, fasting is not gonna help you at all. So you shouldn't fast if you're already struggling to hit your like protein goals, for example. You should actually try to eat more frequently. Let's talk about eating 4+ meals a day. Let's transition and talk about its pros, okay? So 3 pros. The first one is you're not gonna be hungry for long periods of time. You're eating frequently, you're constantly getting calories and food in your system. So your likelihood of having long periods of hunger is not really gonna be present. The second pro is going to be consistent energy. If you're feeding your body consistently, you're going to have more consistent energy throughout the day. And number 3 is going to be ability to hit your calories and macros more consistently. Because you're eating so frequently, 4+ meals a day, you're going to have much more opportunity to get your protein in, to hit your fats, to hit your right amount of carbs. And it really is the best for hitting your calories and macros. Like for me, for an example, right now I'm eating 4+ meals a day, and I find that I'm hitting my calories and macros much more consistently compared to when I was having 2 meals a day. The cons, let's go over the cons of eating 4+ meals in a day. The first one, of course, is it's time consuming, all right? If you're a busy professional on the go, you will have to meal prep. You would have to put some things in Tupperware. You're gonna have to take things on the go because you need to get those meals in. And keep in mind, guys, when I say 4+ meals in a day, I don't mean just having like 2 of them being snacks. I mean like actually having 4 solid meals, like your rice, your proteins, your veggies. So the first one is it's gonna be time consuming no matter what. The second thing I want to talk about, the first kind of is like the second, but the second I want to talk more about practicality. So first is time consuming. The second con is just practicality. So imagine you're a busy professional, okay? You're in the office. How can you always have a microwave? Like this is like a question a lot of people struggle with, which is why they can't implement. If I'm a busy professional, if I don't have a microwave, always have a microwave around me, how can I microwave my food? Or, I'm maybe like a civil engineer. I'm always on my feet. I'm in different locations all the time. How can I bring that food with me? How do I have the utensils, or how do I have like the things to heat up my food, the microwave to heat up my food? I don't have the time to eat this many meals. Like I only got 1 lunch break. Like how can I make this work? So these are questions a lot of busy professionals have. And I do understand the struggle. However, even though it is not the most practical, it is still possible. So we have clients that would make things work. Maybe when they're going to work, right before going to work, they're gonna have like 1 meal. They'll take 10-15 minutes going to work early, just have that quick meal, right? It's heated in their Tupperware already, so it's already warm, maybe even 20 minutes, 30 minutes towards your workplace. They're gonna take advantage of their lunch hour. They're also gonna grab a meal, let's just say right before driving home, same thing, they're gonna microwave it at their workplace. It's gonna be hot when they get to the car, and they're gonna have their 3rd meal. So if there's a will, there's always a way. But yes, number 2, it's gonna be practicality in general. And number 3 con is, and this one's actually really important, and you have to keep this in mind if you're choosing to do 4+ meals in a day, is your ability to do flexible dieting is going to be limited. So what is flexible dieting? Flexible dieting is the ability to eat 80% of the foods that are really healthy, like chicken and rice and broccoli, but 20% of your foods can be the foods you want to be eating. It could be maybe even a burger. It could be a pizza. Maybe it could be sweets. And just fitting it in once you hit your protein targets for the day, right? So making a little bit of room with your carbs and fats and having that little bit of junk food or cheat meal, whatever you want to call it. If you're having 4+ meals in a day, you're not going to be having as much opportunity, if any opportunity, to actually do flexible dieting. Because let's say you need to get 4 standard meals in. If you just have one of those meals switch with something that's a lot higher in carbs and fats and calories, it's gonna pretty much ruin your entire day's calories and macros, because you still gotta get those other meals in, those other 3 meals in. Unless you make revisions to the other 3 meals, it's gonna be really hard to do flexible dieting, because let's be honest, when you're having a cheat meal, it's generally gonna be higher in carbs and fats, and you just wouldn't be able to make those numbers work. That's gonna be the pros and cons of intermittent fasting and also eating 4+ meals in a day. Now, I'm gonna give my own input because I've been doing both. Well, I have been doing 4+ meals most recently because I'm in prep right now, but before then, I was always big on intermittent fasting or eating 2 to 3 times a day. Now, ever since I switched over to 4+ times, I'm eating about 4 to 5 times now, right? I can honestly say that I personally would say that 4 to 5 times is superior fitness-wise, right? Personally, my energy is better overall. I don't get hungry as frequently and for as long periods of time. Especially, and this is the biggest one I noticed myself, my performance is better when I'm having 4+ meals in a day, especially when I hit meal 3 by the time I go to the gym. So before, I would eat maybe 2 meals when I'm really busy, like 2 big meals. And like having one really big meal, let's just say 800, 900 calories, is not nearly gonna be the same as having like 3 meals that are each worth like 300 to 400 calories spread over a time frame of like 6 hours. The biggest benefit I found is just my performance is a lot better when I'm having 4+ meals in a day. My energy is also more consistent throughout the day. Now, as a final message to you, you're probably still wondering, okay, so what should I do, Adrian? What is best for me? My answer to you is take what I mentioned about the pros and cons and see what fits best for you. All right, so if you're big on flexible dieting, if you're really busy, then you should stick with intermittent fasting or even like a standard 3 meals a day. If you want to maximize results, whether you do a fitness competition, you also have more time on your hands, and you're just looking mainly to maximize the results, okay? You want that 5% edge. You want to take any advantage you can with your fitness, then 100% you should be doing 4+ meals in a day. All right, guys, that's it for today. If you got value, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so whenever I do have any new videos, you will be notified. And besides from that, it was good speaking with you guys. Hopefully you got value, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.